Do you think today's retailer incentive and ratio variants are really worth it? I don't think so. Hey there, I have an unboxing video for you today, and I haven't opened up an order from Things from Another World in a while. I have several of these kind of backlogged and thought I would just open up a relatively smaller order. Included in this order that I'm going to unbox and we're going to take a look at are some ratios, retailer incentives, whatever you want to call them. They're variants, incentive variants, but I wonder if over time these are really worth the trouble. A lot of times, if there's a book that pops, you will see speculators immediately shift to the 1 in 25s or 1 in 50s because it's the rarer, harder to find copy, and they want to show you that they have it, so that that book rises faster and they're able to flip that a lot quicker. However, I feel like that's a pretty unique situation and scenario that we're dealing with. For the most part, ratio incentive variants, and I probably have to figure out something consistent to call them, RIs. I think that you have to hone in and be very, very specific with maybe a couple of them, either per week or per month, depending on your budget and what you want to do. I and just kind of focus on those, and you're, to me, it's a big gamble, and I have been gambling on these for probably a good year now, and I'll tell you that the payoff for me just isn't there. The tough part too is if you get them in a 9.4 or 9.6 and they're kind of sticking around ratio or maybe just dipping a little under, it's a hard sell just to go out there and say, hey, I've got a 1 in 25 that's cooling off and it's like a 9.2 and 9.4. You probably get about $10 for it. When you're pre-ordering from Things from Another World, these will typically, like 1 in 25s will typically run you somewhere like 16.99, 17.49, 19.99, and they're trying to sell them, basically listing them at ratio, meaning a 1 in 25 is about $25, a 1 in 50 is about $50, and then they'll discount it a little bit if you pre-order. And also, if you pre-order way ahead of time, the discount is just slightly better. But the problem is you lock yourself in on these ratio variants, and then as time passes, they're not as desirable. The gamble is when they do hit, it seems like a sure thing. Like, why don't you do this all the time? And I talk about the similarities to gambling in Vegas. It's like if you're, as soon as you hit on that one machine, it feels like, well, I could do this all day. But if you're buying several of these, which I did in this order, and as you open them, it's almost a little painful to look at, to say, gosh, why did I order this? Because you can get them today. And a lot of times the stock is so plentiful on some of these online sites that they'll do like a 50% off incentive back issues, or I forget what they call it, but like premium books, premium book discount. So 1 in 25 will be like 10 or $12. And even then, it just feels like it's like you're overpaying. Like I said, though, there are really great ones out there, and when they hit and you have it and you pre-ordered, you look like a genius. But I would say you're probably better off pre-ordering 2 or 3 copies of Cover A on everything than trying to get a bunch of ratios at somewhere between $15 and $30 to pre-order those, because you end up spending a couple of $100, and the price on those ratio variants, when they're not a hit, it it sinks fast, and I think at a rate faster than your cover A's and cover B's. So that's where I'm starting to rethink how I pre-order. And over the last several months, I have increased my subscriptions and pre-orders with Things from Another World, back to not quite the level that I was a year ago. but I have not pre-ordered incentives. Occasionally one will slip in if it's in stock, but I'm not aggressively checking the website and seeing what's in stock and looking at lists and hot lists and things like that for pre-ordering incentives. I'm not doing that anymore. So this order is from about a month ago, where it was kind of the tail end of like my last bit of 1 in 25s that I was picking up. So let's get to the unboxing. I'm going to show you the books. We'll get through them. We'll check the quality. And then I will show you the order analysis and kind of compare it to today's market prices. And then we'll let the data decide whether I overpaid for these and if it's worth it to buy these retailer incentives, even if you get a little bit of a discount on a pre-order. Okay, so let's get this order unboxed. This is, I would say it's kind of the medium box from Things from Another World. That's why I said it's a relatively small order, but it's kind of a medium-sized order. The smaller orders, so if you're buying like 5 or 6 comics, it'll come in almost like a Gemini mailer or a Uline. In my experience, those orders are typically the ones that are likely to get damaged. They're not always damaged, but if they are, this book, or this box, I should say, is packed really tight. Like I can feel the lid on the top kind of bursting. So I'm very curious to see how the books ended up inside. So let's go ahead and unbox this here. And if you love packing peanuts, then I can not recommend Things from Another World more than I already do. They love packing peanuts. So this I was saying, it's like it was bursting, but at least these were on top. So that's good. Okay, so this brick, and I'm trying not to like, this is the tough part. I don't want to dig in with my hand and start grabbing the edges or start pulling on the paper or doing something, because these are my comics and I don't want them damaged. So I'm trying to get in and pull from the bottom, and hopefully these peanuts won't go everywhere. There we go. I was gonna say it feels like months since I've opened an order from TFAW, and I believe it has been months. So let's see what we have here. We'll open up the brown paper bag. That Wolverine right on the front, huh? That's cool. So let's see. This was an order that I placed. Well, it was a pre-order. The order was created by TFAW back December 29th, 2021. So these are books released like right at the tail end of 2021. All right, so let's see what we have here. All right, X-Men Legends number 9. It's hard to pass up a great Wolverine cover where he has some folks there in the reflection of his claws. Looks like Lady Deathstrike, Omega Red, Sabretooth. Great Billy Tan cover there. And you'll notice too, if you'll see, to kind of protect the books, or at least try to, TFAW will alternate, which is nice. So they're kind of making sure that the left spines are not all stacked and kind of making an accordion. This allows the books to lay flat, so I appreciate that. I got 2 copies of X-Men number 5. The tough part about ordering these ahead of time is I don't remember why. I think there was speculation on a new villain or new character, and might be right here on the cover. So I got 2 copies of that. Wonder Girl number 5. Jenny Frison, Joelle Jones writing the book. Lots of great stuff here, except I heard that Wonder Girl was canceled. So there is that. Here is I believe, so the Frison was the cover B. This is cover A. Wastelanders Wolverine at number 1. So this is kind of like another story around the old man, old woman, old person stories that Marvel will do from time to time. I think DC's doing them now too. Darth Vader number 18. Okay, so this is Darth Vader 18. and this is just a cover B variant. I'm trying to check and make sure that I don't miss on the ratio incentive variants, so we can point those out. And here's one. So this is a good example. So this is Crimson Rain #1. This is the David Lopez 1 in 25. Has Kira right on the cover. Nothing wrong with the book. Looks great. But this particular variant was not the one that took off. The ones that took off were the Raza, kind of the red and black variants, because those had the Knights of Ren on the cover. So if this were, it was a Raza 1 in 25 Knights of Ren, then this one would probably be a home run. But this is a ratio incentive variant that you can still find for a lot less than I paid on pre-order. This is not an incentive. This is just the Venom #2. It is the local comic shop day LCSD variant. A great John Boy Myers cover, though, for sure. Here's just the Hulk #2 cover A, so you could see him about 3 issues behind, or 3 months behind, I guess, on the releases here, give or take 2 or 3 issues maybe. So here's Hulk #2. And then Hawkeye Kate Bishop #1. This is the Phil Noto variant with Pizza Dog in the pool. And then this is a 1 in 25. This is the Balam 1 in 25 Kate Bishop Hawkeye variant. And again, not something that's super sought after right now. Again, nothing wrong with the book. It's a lot of fun to have and collect ratio incentives. But if you're looking, to spend your money wisely, this is kind of the experiment. So we're going to keep going through the books, and then we'll analyze the price I spent and value here. Kate Bishop, Hawkeye #1. I believe this is the cover A. Yeah, so I got the A, the 1 in 25, and the Phil Noto variant on that one. Here is Daredevil 36, the Dan Panosian cover. I can't miss Kingpin. It's a giant Kingpin face right on this one. I think this was it's called a Foreshadow variant, so maybe a little bit of a spoiler in the story that Kingpin appears in a Daredevil book. That's crazy. Here is the Juan Cabal Daredevil 36 Stormbreaker variant, and this one's cool because you can turn it upside down and you've got Elektra there with Daredevil, so that's a fun cover. And this is the standard cover A. Speaking of spoilers, this is the spoiler version. This has been out for a while, so Captain Marvel 34, the Art Germ spoiler. I did get this from a Boxed Heroes mystery box, so that'll be my second copy. Here is cover A, The Last of the Marvels, Part 3. Here is Batman 89 #4. This is the Babs Tarr variant. I've collected some of her books in the past, and really like this. This going back to kind of the Michael Keaton age of Batman and bringing that Batman 89 style into comics. So I wanted to grab the variant there. This is the cover A, Joe Quinones cover art with Robin, as if Robin were part of that original Batman film and that Batman, the Tim Burton era. Joe Quinones, great artist, very Adam Hughes-like. So a lot of his covers are really great on the Batman 89 run that's going on. So X-Men 5, I got 2 issues of cover A. This is the McKelvey 1 in 25. Has Rogue and Wolverine right on the cover. That's great, fantastic. But again, the value of this one versus what I paid versus holding up, in that 1 in 25 ratio, we will see very soon when we look at the numbers. This cover I loved. I frankly don't care what I paid for and what it's worth. I love Lenny Francis Yu. This is Venom #2. This is the U 1 in 25 variant. I don't know how many Venom covers he's done, but I love this one. This is great. This is one that I would probably get slabbed and hang on the wall, assuming it's in a 9/8. So that is something that when you're pre-ordering from TFAW and you're spending the money, based on the data, you're more likely to get these incentives in the 996-ish range. So that's also something to consider because you're not just snagging these from eBay and getting them at a 9. We have two more incentive ratios to go. We've got Star Wars 19. This too is a 1 in 25. I believe this was done by Gist. And great Luke Skywalker cover there. And the last book is the variant to Hulk #2. This is the Adam Kubert variant. Maybe this is better. Well, his arms are really going backwards, isn't it? And again, did this book's value hold up in a 1 in 25? Well, let's find out. So those are the books. All great books. Glad that I had pre-ordered them. Glad they're going to be part of my PC. I can't wait to grade some of them. This looks amazing and fantastic. Love that. Great McKelvey. And I can go back and repeat myself on a lot of these. But in the end, the question I have is, could I have picked up these books today? Could I have gone online and actually spent less money? And I believe, based on the fair market value, that that is a true theory, that's a true assumption, that if I had just held out. I still recommend pre-ordering. I still do, just because that way you don't miss out. If this particular 1 in 25 had taken off, then that would have been the one the market had kind of adopted and made its own and said, this is the one that we're going to push and flip and do all of these things, and this one's $100, and you'd have your copy. But more often than not, I don't believe that that's the case. I believe that, I hate to say that you're stuck with it, and it's not that they're bad books, but you're stuck with the price that you paid. So let's look at the order details. Let's look at the numbers and see if I'm right or wrong. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the order details here. Everything's plugged in. Again, order from December 29, 2021 from Things from Another World. It was a $204.42. Again, this is what I'm trying to figure out is the pre-ordering of the incentives, the price you pay, is it worth it? Look at the shipping, look at the tax, look at the additional money I have to pay for bags and boards. Things like that, they all factor into the price of every book. So what I do is I distribute, it looks to be about maybe $37 worth of fees, shipping, tax, and so forth here. And I'll plug it into the total cost of column Z, and that will also equal $204.42. And then I distribute that across of the 25 books that was in that unboxing. So let's go over this, and I'm pretty much just using column U, the fair market value. These books are so new that they were released in the last 2 to 3 months from the time that I just opened it, that we don't have a lot of graded and slab values that would really be able to make sense. So I'm not going to plug in the grades and do that. In this order, we're just strictly going to look at the fair market value provided by cover price. This means that this is leveraging the sources that they use. We're talking about online sales of raw books for these. So you have to kind of understand that too. If you can still get these books at your LCS and they're 40% off, obviously you're getting them for less than cover. This is really just kind of taking the temperature of the online market for raw books. So in theory, if we take a look at 6602, which is Batman 89 number 4, cover A, it has a cover price fair market value of $10. If all things are kind of being equal and we're, relatively speaking here, you should be able to go online and find it for around $10. So I'm not saying you can find it for that price, more or less. It's just the average. It's a general number and what you could expect to pay for that book. So looking at the total cost of all of the books and then looking at the cover price fair market value, column AA is that raw profit. Again, it's that value that you're adding to your collection. So I'll just move it over so we have a little bit more room to look at these numbers here. And you'll see for the most part, these are negative. So let's look at the total, and then we'll come back and look at a few of the books here before I wrap up. A loss of $22.68 overall for this order. So this is what has me thinking, is it really worth it to pre-order all of the books that you would typically want, or do you just pre-order maybe the books that you're specking on or you believe will increase in value? I'm kind of back and forth on that. I like adding books to my collection. I like having complete runs and so forth of books, and I like ordering the incentives. I just enjoy it. I like having it. But a lot of these books you can still get today for around that fair market value. Okay, so looking at the incentives here, we have, I'll just kind of work backwards. Right here is X-Men #5. This is the McKelvey variant. Total cost for me of $19.01. And if we go back to the fair market value, $14.68 for a loss of over $4. Here's another one, that Venom #2, that great Lenny Francis Yu cover, a loss of $7. Crimson Rain, the Sabak Lopez variant, loss of $2.54. I think I see a pattern here. The Gist variant of Star Wars 19, loss of $2.38. The Kubert variant for Hulk #2, a loss of $4.22. Kate Bishop Balam variant, loss of $6.36. That one really came down. And I think that was it. Yeah. The Batman 89 #4 is just an open order cover A, and that one doubled in value, but that was not an incentive. So for all of those incentives that I ordered, they're all at a loss, meaning I paid the discounted TFA price plus, if you factor in shipping, tax, and the bag and board service, it just adds additional money that you're spending on those books. Most of these I looked up. Some of them are available at Midtown, eBay, other sources, where even TFA sometimes has these lingering if you want to go search for them. Again, it's not that they're bad books, but just if we're looking at the numbers and we're looking at value, it seems to me that if you're looking at books over time and you're really looking at ordering those retail incentive ratio variants through a pre-order process, unless you can somehow get them close to cover, which you can't, unless you know somebody or you're ordering 25 copies of something and they'll give you that RI variant for cover price. I don't know. This is a tough one. I know this is a one-off order. It's not, I'm not like I'm looking at 50 orders worth of data here, but it just has me thinking that it may not be worth it to do this. And looking at this data, this is an example of an order where I'm kind of disappointed in that the ratio values didn't hold, and that's my own fault. I understand that I ordered them. I could have waited on those and maybe got them for half ratio online. I understand that completely. There's the FOMO that kind of kicks in too. Like, if one of those variants went triple or quadruple ratio, I don't want to miss out. I want to get it for 16 or 19 bucks and then have it as a $100 book in my collection. But it's just rare. It just doesn't happen that often. When it happens, it's great, it makes you feel good. But more often than not, you're kind of missing out. And also, it's hard to find these. It's hard to order them. It's really difficult to find and seek out and pre-order a lot of the variants. It's really a matter of supply and availability for these. But I have really kind of dialed this back. I really do more back issue purchasing. I still subscribe and pre-order through Things from Another World, but I'm ordering more just your open order cover A's and B's, maybe getting multiple copies here. There are 2 or 3 copies of certain books that I want. And then if I really, really like the ratio variant, like the U variant for Venom, the price, the value doesn't matter to me. I think it's a awesome looking cover. One of the better Venom covers recently. I'm a big fan of U, so that I don't think about the value on that one. So, and that's the kind of mentality that I have, is kind of buy what you like, really kind of putting more of that mentality and that strategy into the ratio variants, because I really thought the buy what you like was more for the open order books, and then maybe the incentives were investment books. but I'm just going to apply the buy what you like to new books across the board. So there you go. What do you think? Do you buy ratio incentives brand new? Do you pre-order them? If you do, where do you get them? Do you care about the value of these? Do you just like owning them, that they're rare or harder to find? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Happy collecting, and see you next time.